Yo, I'm Drunky.
I'm the Flood.
And welcome to the Fortnite update where we talk about all the news, esports, and past notes related to Fortnite. It is January 10th. This is episode 21 of the podcast. Let's start the update.
Let's go.
All right, Flood. Another week of Fortnite has passed. And here we are with a brand new item, some unvaulted items, and some newly vaulted items. So let's talk about it.
An actual update. And that's exciting.
It is
That's exciting. After like a couple weeks where it was just like fireworks and stuff, which are cute and fun. But we got an actual update. This is a good day.
Epic is back in town. You know, all the work is back in offices. Holidays are done. We're starting to roll out patches to see if they can push Fortnite in a different direction.
Speaking of, can you imagine walking back into the offices with like the way the internet's been treating Fortnite lately?
Yeah.
I don't know. That would have been a rough day walking back in after the holiday break.
It smells like Twitter in here. What the?
Wait, what happened?
Oh man, I would hate to be like one of their workers or whatever, like their design guys over the holidays, because you know everyone's just glued to their phone when you don't want to talk to your family. So he's just like scrolling through like Twitter. He has no refuge. Just like, oh God, please.
Oh, I've got so much work to do when I get back in the office.
All right, let's talk about weapons and items real quick. Suppressed sniper rifle has been added to the game. This is available in epic and legendary variants. It can be found on chests, floor loot, vending machines, and supply drops. It is a single shot scoped sniper rifle. The suppressor makes a quieter shot, trading stealth for power. It deals 100 damage to 105 base damage. Suppressed sniper rifle. What do you think about it?
It sounds really cool. It makes this great sound, which is cool. And like every new gun, whenever they add a new gun, for some reason, it sounds better than every other gun in the game for a little while, and then you get used to it. This is one I did not see coming, and actually, I'm gonna give props, some dues to my brother, Dr. Smiley, for pointing this out when we were chatting about this one. The damage reduction doesn't make any sense from a bolt action. It's 5 damage less. Functionally, that is the exact same weapon. Functionally, who's running around with 108 health? You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense. Like that's never gonna or like it's 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000. Like it's not any less powerful than a bolt action. It's a bolt action with suppressor that does 5 left net. You know how often that's going to save you? Never in the game, functionally speaking. So that's such a weird phrase to put on it that they're trading. Like knock it down another 10, maybe we'll talk.
It feels like they had a DPS they want to hit for the sniper rifle, right? Because this one does fire faster than the regular or reload faster than the bolt action sniper rifle. So it's like that slight adjustment works out for the DPS to where the heavy sniper rifle has a huge amount of damage, but a really long load time. So it's like they want to hit a DPS for the sniper rifle, which is probably why they didn't like the auto sniper in the game.
That makes a lot of sense. And that you're probably exactly right. It just feels really strange to label it the way that they labeled it and to talk about it the way they're talking about it in a functional sense, not a mathematical sense. So I don't know. It seems neat. I think I like it. I haven't used it a ton yet. I haven't had it dropping nearly as often as I would like to, just to get a chance to play with it enough. But I don't know. It's neat. It's neat, I guess.
Yeah, it's cool.
Was it necessary? I don't know.
That's where I'm mainly landing with it because it is not that less. You know, it doesn't do that much less damage. I do like it being reloaded faster. There's something that like feels good about that. True. I honestly thought that when I heard it announced, because I saw the clip on the bottom, I should have known better. I thought this was going to be the auto sniper reintroduced to the game with a suppressor on it, which I was like, oh, that makes sense. It does do a lot less damage and you're suppressed and you can take a bunch of shots. Didn't end up happening. It was the bolt. And once I saw it, I feel like we already had this weapon in the game. It just this is like the less cool form. Isn't this just the crossbow? We had the crossbow. It was a sniper rifle that you couldn't hear, and it was amazing. It felt different. It felt good. I don't know, man. Like
much. You're 100% right. You know, it's funny that you've mentioned the auto sniper too, because the first 2 times I picked this up, I kept trying to click. Like I kept trying to shoot again without reloading because I couldn't wrap my head around it being a bolty because of the sound and the way it shot. I was like, what? Come on, go again. I don't know what it was. It was so weird. But you're 100% right. Oh, the crossbow.
Yeah, dude.
Those were the days.
Yeah, I don't know why they took away the crossbow just to have this later. Maybe it's because people didn't like want the crossbow. They didn't like identify with it well.
Whenever they got the crossbow first item. If you
Yeah,
picked up the crossbow on your drop, you were like, oh, well, now I'm screwed. And no one would ever pick it up. And then as soon
loved
as you
it.
found a bolty, you were likely using that instead.
Yeah.
Other than you only use the crossbow for the memes, basically. And so I think they realized that the usage case for the average player was non-existent, I'm sure.
Mhm.
So I get where that was going. This, as you say, is filling a similar gap, but it just seems like a non-event. It's kind of like, okay, well, now we've got a silenced version of a bolty. It's just another bolty in the game.
Yeah.
Cool, I guess.
Also surprised they're just not taking the bolt action sniper rifle out at this point. Because the sniper's like pool really feels saturated at this point. With these two items that are basically identical, I don't really know. I kind of wish that they would introduce a new feature to Fortnite where it's like every gun kind of has like an alt mode, and like introduce a new keybind so you could like put a sniper or a suppressor on this gun, but it's less damage. You could do that you could roll that into so many items, like the scars, like the bolt sniper rifle, like the pistols. So you can have these alt modes that do less damage, but we won't like pollute the floor loot with all these different types of items.
But I really think they need to do functionally less damage. Get off this DPS per second thing. Like, make them significantly less damage if they're gonna. But I mean, I guess honestly, the silence isn't that big of an advantage. If you hit their shot, they know where you are. There's a hit marker. Like,
yep. This is for the people who can't hit the shots, Flood. This is for the Floods of the world.
This is why it's important to me.
All right, let's talk about something that got vaulted. The 6-shooter has finally left the game. Ever since Fortnite Nightmares is when it was introduced. Probably the most hated gun I've seen in the game so far.
Well, notwithstanding the drum gun.
Well, people hated the drum gun, but the drum gun they hated it because it was good. Like if you picked up the drum gun, you at least could like fight people. People hated the 6-shooter.
The drum gun broke the game.
Yeah, right. It was like
the drum gun broke the game. The 6-shooter was just like, why is this in the game?
Yeah, like I can't believe this is the weapon I got. Now I'm gonna lose. Where the drum gun was more of I can't believe this is the weapon I got. I'm gonna destroy everybody, bro.
I'm gonna say every time someone picked up a 6-shooter first thing and then killed me with it on the drop, I'm like, props to you, sir. Well played. Way to hit your shots. Like, I'm happy for you. You hit your shots like a champion. You're lucky. Like, I was actually excited for them. Like, I didn't even feel bad.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That thing is so unreliable.
I think the only thing that like surprised me about this is how long the 6-shooter made it, because just nobody. And like the one thing I will say this, I'm sad about it because it was one of the more unique guns to shoot in the game. I love that it had different firing modes. I love the way it pulled out, like the sound of it, like the whistle on it was cool. Like it was a cool gun. It was a cool idea. I wish they could have found a way to balance it, but I guess there wasn't a way. Because now it's gone, man.
Yep.
Now, because it's gone, we had another pistol or two pistols reintroduced to the game. Dualies are back. The Dualies have been officially unvaulted. Probably one of the more niche guns that like a lot of people loved and a lot of people hated. What do you think about the Dualies coming back?
It's like a cult hit in the movie world. You know what I mean? Where this is one of those things where like this is a fan favorite that some people love, and like everyone else is like, why do people love that? Yeah, you know what? I remember going through phases with the Dualies where like there's days where I would use them all day long instead of an AR because I'm like, these are great. These are just the best thing ever. They give you this medium range, really satisfying shot that I just is wonderful. But I I found myself again doing that when they came out again. I would replace my AR. I was messing around with them, having a good time. But they just seem like a good time gun. I don't really see if they have a true blue point or purpose. They could have been gone. They could have stayed gone, and I'd have been okay with it.
I agree with you, and I think it has more to do with that they felt like they needed another pistol in the pistol loot pool because they were taken out of the game when the 6-shooter was introduced because they would have oversaturated the pistol loot. I, for one, love that they're back in the game. I kind of feel like the metas has shifted away from where the Dualies were good. I still think they're really good. I still love picking them up and using them in game. But I think that because of the pump damage has been increased, that the Dualies kind of are in the shadow of the pump. I used to have the Dualies. I would use them instead of a shotgun because the pump wouldn't do good enough damage for me, and then the tack was too inconsistent. So I had my Dualies for my shotgun range, and it's able to do a lot of damage. And the thing I used to pair with it all the time was the double barrel. And now that that's gone, the Dualies are in a weird place for me.
Well, and see, like I sometimes liked it as almost an SMG replacement because it's kind of that like little bit too far away for the shotgun shot where you still get like semi-reasonable accuracy and you hit like a tank, which is great. And it was also decent at like click and you destroy a wood panel.
Yeah.
But now the Deagle 1 Like, why am I going
Yep.
to replace that slot with a deagle? One taps that wood. Like,
Yep.
it's just better. So it's a weird trade-off item that I'm not sure. I'm not sure how valuable its place is, other than some players might just find it more satisfying. And
Yeah.
I get that. Like, there's going to be days where I'm going to run them just because I'm in the mood. So,
I'm
and that's cool. I'm okay with that.
I'm definitely more satisfied with them because it's kind of the same reason I like using a deagle. It's kind of a throwback to the way double pump felt, where it's a rotating a shot that you're rotating a flick shot. You're not trying to spam someone down. You're trying to just like one shoot, one shoot, one shoot. But the problem with the dualies is the pullout time of the dualies is just crazy, dude. It's pullout time in this game, like one, like that's a whole other conversation by itself. But having to do the pump and the dualies together with their pullout times, it's rough, and that's why I would usually just swap out my dualies for a pump. But now the pump is doing so much damage, I really feel like the dualies, they need something for me because I love using them. They feel really good, but
They feel good. Yeah.
they need something a little bit more to fit like into my inventory.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about another weapon that was vaulted. Unfortunately for everybody in the game, the burst rifle and its uncommon, common, and rare variants, the gray through blue burst, has been removed from the game. No longer shall this pain players. What do you think about the burst rifle being removed, my man?
Getting a lot of hipsters all of a sudden. We're like, I used to love the burst. The burst was my favorite gun. Burst was the best. What are you guys all whining about? Okay. This is one of those situations where I guess there was a period, I think it was season 2, where the blue burst was probably the best gun in the game, and it was
Right.
magic. It was so magical, and I loved it, and I used it all the time. But let's be honest, guys, the burst hasn't been truly good in a really long time. Not really good. Like, it's still very deeply satisfying to get that gray burst and get a one tap on someone.
Yep.
Where you get all 3 shots right off early. Oh, and you just feel like a god. It's great. We still have the FAMAS for that if you need it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's not a functional, it's not a good gun. No one uses it. Like, because of first shot accuracy, everyone's learning to tap fire. At some degree anyway. Some better than others, but everyone's learning to tap fire. So everyone will pick up a gray AR and run a gray AR over a blue burst. Pretty much, like,
Yeah.
that's kind of the reality that we live in right now. Just is what it is. So the burst didn't really have a place anymore. I still like that they kept the FAMAS version, the purple and gold, because I will run those. I
Yeah.
will absolutely run those as long as I've got an SMG in my slot, because I won't run one without one. Without an SMG, I will not run it. But
Right.
it's still really good, man. Those if you nail that first shot where you get 3 hits, like, it is powerful and no one sees it coming.
No, that purple and gold bursts are like thumpers. I don't think that the burst deserved as much hate as people gave it.
Agreed.
I, for one, and if people ever checked out my streams, you know that like I used to frag out with the burst early game. If I got a burst on drop, I used to love it. It's a different weapon. People want to use it like a regular AR, and you can't. You have to think about your shots differently. You have to think about the burst spray and where all the like you have to track with while you're shooting. You have to treat it like a SMG AR hybrid instead of just a AR, which I don't think anyone did.
Yeah.
I do think it deserved to be vaulted. Even though I actually liked it, and like I always had a good time when I was using the burst early game and mid game at some points. But like I said, after mid game, it's really not there. Once you move out of your initial POI and you're running in open fields, I don't think the burst weapons really have a place in this game. And for a game where the item pool is like too expansive and too saturated right now, I agree with this vault. It had to go.
Everything you said, I can't even add anything to that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Let's talk about the dynamite and the boom boxes real quick. Both have had their drop rates reduced. Dynamite had its drop rates reduced by 40%. That is a massive drop rate reduction. The boombox has had its drop rate reduced by 33%. That's a massive drop rate reduction. Now, one, I feel like we're still seeing them quite a bit in the game.
Yes.
But Epic is kind of hearing the calls that like, maybe we don't need all of these massively destructive items dropped all the time. Additionally to the drop rate, the boombox health was reduced by 200 health, and its duration was shortened from 25 to 18, where we'll get to. What do you think about the dynamite and the boombox adjustments?
It's so funny that you say that, because literally the first game where I was like, dynamite, I got some dynamite. I know they just reduced the drop rate on this. Then I turned a corner, picked up another stack of dynamite, right off the bat. I was like, oh, dynamite. All right, cool. Okay, we'll get to this even further in other things we're going to talk about, but this is yet another piece of what I would call a peace offering from Epic Games right now. I think they've got a community in turmoil. I think they've got a community that is deeply despondent and not happy with this. Like, they're all just don't give a goddamn anymore. Like, you're watching these guys and they are actually grinding the game at this point. No one seems happy with the game right now. Sorry, Epic. But I do think that this was a weird lull in the amount of updates that they've been giving us, and a weird lull in the communication of what they're doing. And I think that this was a peace offering. I think that everyone's hearing it and they're like, okay, well, we'll knock back the dynamite a little bit. Okay, we'll knock back the boombox a little bit. The boombox was it lasts a really long time. I have definitely abused it myself, and it is honestly kind of super fun. But like, it's feels cruel and game breaking when I do it. Dynamite there was just a lot of it. Honestly, there was just a lot of it. So this is a good update. Like, I don't hate the dynamite completely. I kind of do. I don't know. I'm so iffy on this shit, man. Like, it's just the dynamite can be so game ruining, but at the same time, like, I don't mind that these exist. They just need to be nerfed a little bit, and I think this was a step in the right direction.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't even know what to say about this, man. I'm just blabbering about dynamite at this point.
I love that these drop rates have been reduced. I still feel like, they do need to be reduced even more. I'm tired of running around in POIs and having everything in terms of like natural cover being destroyed. The sightlines are being created in like Tilted Towers and places like Salty and stuff. The sightlines are being like radically adjusted because of these items, and it makes all the POIs kind of feel just bad to play in. Rolling through these items mid game, like normally you'll see 1 to 2 houses just like completely destroyed.
100%.
I'm not a fan of these items. I made a tweet about this earlier about like my thought process on why I'm just not enjoying Fortnite like I used to, and it's like you said, like everyone is grinding this game. I used to get asked all the time, like, how are you still having fun? I never felt like I was grinding this game. I used to love playing solos like 10 to 12 hours a day. Like, loved it, dude.
Same boat, baby.
And
Same boat.
I just can't
10-hour
do
days.
it.
People are like, how do you do this? I'm like, because it's a fun game.
It's a fun game.
I don't know what to tell you.
And part of the reason
it's a little less fun.
Part of the reason it's not fun anymore is because of the items like the dynamite and the boombox. The reason I fell in love with Fortnite is because the item pool was simple and the builds were complex. And right now the game feels like the item pool is completely saturated, and that all the items that are saturating this are there to destroy builds. So I am all for boomboxes honestly being taken out of the game. If we're going to leave dynamite in, I would like the drop rate reduced even more. These should be things that, people find to solve problems in late game, not to destroy stuff early
and
game.
Extremely niche items. Like, not all the time everyone has them, but very nichey. Like, oh, I got one. Okay, this is going to be great. I'll be able to do this. Like, that's it. It needs to have like a really functional feel and be semi-rare and exciting. I don't know.
First off, or I guess this is like fifth off, the boombox lasted 25 seconds. Like, that lasted 25 seconds. I knew it was long, but when I read that, I was like, what?
Eternity, dude. It felt like eternity.
Yeah.
18. It's still like a long time, man. What's funny? There's a house in Salty, I think, where it has like a divot underneath it. You throw a boombox in there and they end up in it. They can't build out. And it's so funny.
Oh my God.
It's so funny.
I know. I can see it.
There. It's and I did it to someone else and they did it to me right back. It was, it's so stupid, but it's kind of fun, but it's so stupid.
These drop rates just feel like really crazy because the dynamite and the boombox are both more destructive than I would say an RPG or a quad launcher are to builds. But like, it's so hard to find explosives. You pick up a rocket launcher, you got like 2 rockets to shoot, and then you can't find any rockets for the rest of the game. But sure enough, you got like 8 dynamite that you can throw. Like, why? It should be like the opposite.
I drop rocket launchers all the time now. Like, I'll use it. I run into rockets. As soon as I'm out of rockets, I'm like, oh, okay, I see a deagle. I'll grab that instead. Like, because I'm probably not going to find more rockets for like a while until I kill someone else who happens to have a whole bunch if I'm lucky. Like, it's such a
like a while ago we saw that there was a problem with people holding way too many rockets, so they adjusted the rockets down to 14, and then they just kind of recreated the problem with dynamite and boomboxes. Like, it's just
the problem with the game was splodes, so they took away the splodes and then they added more splodes.
Yes,
it's sorry, guys, like, still splodes.
It's like I said this to you offline when people tell me that like this patch is like a step in the right direction. It's like, yes, it's a step in the right direction, and they keep making steps in the right direction like the entire development, and then they like come along and grab the wheel and just like yank this thing to the right. And it's like, what? We solved it. We were back on the road, and now we're in the ditch again, bro. Like, stop yanking.
it's a constant story of like so close yet so far. Like they get
Dude.
it so close. Like core things when they like got the shotgun back, you're like, oh my god, the game is oh planes. Okay.
Yeah, bro. End of season 6 was the best Fortnite we have played. I was addicted. I was like, I would go to bed like, I can't wait. I can't wait to
It
get up
was
and play
nearly
it.
perfect. It was nearly perfect. They had it
Yep.
so beautiful, and then they're like, have some planes.
Speaking of
Have some
planes,
planes, little ones.
let's talk about some X4 Stormwing adjustments that have came to the game in the gameplay section of the patch notes.
Yeah. Okay.
The Stormwing adjustments. The knockback a player receives after being hit by a Stormwing has been decreased by 70%. The damage done to a Stormwing when from colliding with structures has been increased by 50%. Impact damage reduction while boosting through structures reduced from 50 to 25. Increases spread of the machine gun by 75%. The Stormwing spawn chance has been decreased from 80 or 280 from 100. Pretty big changes to the Stormwing. Everything about it pretty much took a huge nerf back.
Yeah, and this is what I needed. I didn't think that they were going to get rid of them yet. I
Mhm.
would like them to get rid of them. I don't think that's. I feel like there's a longer play plan on their playbook where like the storming has to last to a certain era for like maybe their storyline of the map or something. I don't know what it is. So I had a feeling it wasn't going to go away yet. But I'm glad that they're at least listening and nerfing the crap out of it. You could keep nerfing it. That'd be cool. Let's drop it
Yeah.
to like a 50% chance of spawn rate. I instantly saw that there was a few less of them in my games.
Yeah.
And that was nice. It hasn't really stopped people from crashing into me, even though it does take more damage, which is nice. The problem is you can still, and I know you referenced an example of this earlier off stream, where people can still jump out, man. They're still smart enough to jump out at the right time, most of the time anyway. I love to punish these things even before the nerf. I will stand and fire at these things and just punish kids. And if those kids are bad, and they generally are, you're going to dink them a couple times as they're flying around. Then you're going to blow up the plane, and they're going to die. And
Yeah.
it's all I want to do is punish these things. That's all I want to do. And if you're playing Fortnite right now and you see someone punishing a Stormwing, do not shoot that person. Shoot the Stormwing with them. Punish the plane. Anyway, it's a step in the right direction. I still think Stormwings are a huge problem in this game, and I think that is literally the number one problem. We can talk about boomboxes all day long, but if you get rid of Stormwings, there's going to be a lot more happy players out there.
Absolutely. I think you are right that like the Stormwing has to reach a certain chapter or something in this story before it gets taken out or like completely nerfed into the ground. Because the amount of outrage is just, I feel like it's almost on par with what we were seeing with the redeploy. Every content creator I follow and watch are complaining about the planes. It does too much. This is all like good stuff to nerf it, but at a certain point, it's the item itself that's the problem, and it can't be nerfed. It's the concept itself that's the problem. This thing does way too much. It covers way too much. Being able to attack, being able to rotate. It does too much.
Yep.
Every day I stop playing this game, it's because of stuff that happened with the Stormwing. And I have a very tough time opening the game up, knowing that there's going to be planes. It is my number one complaint, and I don't know what the game looks like if this like continues to be in the game, because it's too much.
The best
man.
fights that I have, like the best build fights and exciting moments that I have, are, it feels like at least 90% of the time get crashed by a plane.
Yep.
Like 90, it just, that's what it feels like. Maybe that's not the actual math, but it certainly feels that way. Like I'm having the best time of my life in the game. I haven't seen a plane. I'm having a great match. I'm like halfway through the match. It's going well. And I'm feeling like, oh yeah, Fortnite is really good. This was a good patch. All of a sudden, a storm will crash, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Yep. And like, how many times
I forgot that this is what I'm playing.
How many times do you look up after mid game and you see like 5 players just like flying around in the air, fighting each other and like attacking and stuff? But just the fact that we see 5 airplanes in the air. I remember back in the day, I remember telling people how much I loved Fortnite because this was a battle royale that didn't have vehicles. I've never been a fan of big vehicles in battle royales.
Yep.
Anytime someone's rotating in Fortnite, you were able to see them. You're able to like get a plan. Like like your positioning mattered massively in this game. We went from having no vehicles to kind of little fun vehicles for rotations to the quad crasher to this. It's just it's too
I'd
much
like
for
to
me.
knock us back to pre-quad crasher. I would like to get
Yep.
rid of the quad crasher as
Yep.
well. Let's get rid of that bad boy. Let's go to ATKs and shopping carts, who no one uses anyway because they're stupid. But let's just go back to like a few ATKs around. They're fun for rotations and really helpful for some outskirt areas. And like bump the drop, give those 100% drop spawn rate. in those weird little areas. Like that's a great idea in my
Yep.
mind. Like that makes it a much better game because
Yep.
those don't hurt anyone. You know what I mean? They don't hurt anyone. You can't third party the crap out of them. They're like, "Zzz, I'm coming for you guys. Beep beep. Come on, I'm coming. Like so,
I feel you.
but the quad crashers, like even those, which I kind of still I'm okay with those. I can deal with those. But like, let's even get rid of those. Let's go back. Let's go back a minute. You know
Yep.
what? Because it was a better game.
Yeah, and there's nothing that shows it more than when you play like the unvaulted mode, where they don't have any vehicles. And guess what? It does suck to have to rotate. It does suck taking storm damage. But we're in a place that they started expanding the storm circles to the edge of the map because of the vehicles. Back early, like season 2, season 3, these storm circles did not end up on the edges of the map, so you didn't have to rotate as hard.
Yeah.
I think we were in a, we
There's
were in
other
a better
ways to
game.
adjust that and fix it. And like, you know what? If it sucks a little bit, that's okay. Like the game can have a period where it feels like it sucks a little bit
Yep.
because you didn't rotate well. That's on you. And
Yep.
the game sucked a little bit because of that. That's okay. That'll happen. That's okay. At least the game is fair and fun and good.
Yep.
I don't
Absolutely. All right. Talking about fair and fun,
know.
we
Ooh.
have some competitive announcements coming up. Flood, walk us through this.
A glimmer of hope. Okay, so one of the things that was bugging me last week was that we lost our pop-up cups, and pop-up cups were literally, for me, it was like, that was Fortnite for me. Like, that was the part that I cared about. As soon as I started playing solos after that, I got bored.
Yeah.
Because the pop-up cups are so much fun. We went from a place where everyone wants the pop-up rules in regular Fortnite, and instead they just got rid of the pop-up cups because they were over. Yikes. Now, this is pretty much what I expected. I thought maybe they might give us pop-up cups back, but my thinking was the reason that they ended was because they're working on something bigger. And apparently, according to Reddit, Skyzin from Epic Games wrote a big old letter. Now, I'll comment on the fact that they had to find this on Reddit first later on. But anyway, hey, all, Winter Royale was operated with over 9 million players across North America and Europe competing, blah, blah, blah. We've seen questions as to why there aren't any tournaments. During January, we'll be transitioning to a new tournament backend system, which will help enable features such as live in-game leaderboards during events, support for tournaments to take place across multiple knockout rounds, and allow us to create richer variety of events to keep the experience fresh and exciting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The point is the pop-up cups are gone because they are working on a backend. Now, I'm guessing they're using the same servers that would have been for the pop-up. They're using those now here, and maybe those servers are being worked on so they can set up for this new back end system. I'm guessing that there's probably a hidden SR that they've been building in during the pop-ups and in solos and stuff. This is very exciting to me. This means we're getting a real and true permanent competitive playlist, probably a ladder system, probably some kind of rank. Something is happening. Something big is brewing, and I'm glad that they let us know in some way because I think that was critical. Like, don't just leave us hanging. And I don't have to, why don't I have to go to Reddit to find this, guys? This is my new update that I would like to see you guys do, Epic. In your Epic Games launcher, when I click on Fortnite, give me a little Fortnite window that tells me this kind of stuff. Like, don't make me search for this. Like, don't make this hard to find. And I know that I love that you're involved in the community and on Reddit. That's good. Cross post. But put it on your website too, like right up front. Like, put it on all kinds of, like,
Sure.
Give it to me everywhere possible. Like, make sure that I know this because I think that the communication on what you guys are planning, if you're planning good things, is absolutely critical to keeping us all engaged.
Yeah. You're right. It does need to be in more than one places. I feel like there was a time where we used to click on news and like they would like talk about there being announcements and stuff, and then we'd link to them. I might be wrong about that, but I really feel like that used to be the way back in the day. Either way, excited that there are more competitive changes coming. Very sad that the pop-up cups haven't been, because that was really the only fun I was having in Fortnite was with that rule set. I don't necessarily think that this has to do with the reason that they're stating that they needed this stuff to work on it.
I'm just speculating on that one.
I'm honestly gonna have to say that it's because there is a lot of hackers in the game right now, and that is being heavily spotlighted by the pop-up cups when every streamer who participates in it gets stream sniped, and the person just has like an aimbot, and like it looks bad. It looks really bad. So I think they're working on some some countermeasures to all the exploiting that's going on within the game, or not exploiting, but straight out hacking with aimbots and stuff. I would like more than a tournament system. I kind of want something where I can kind of like go into pubs, a public game,
competitive pub. Yeah,
competitive
That's
pub.
what I would like to see as well. Yeah,
I don't think that this is coming. I don't think it will ever be in the game. I think the tournament pop-up cup system is their competitive, and I think it's always going to be within the time frames that they set. I don't see something happening where it's nonstop.
but they might go. Well, my thinking is that they might go into a system where those pop-ups it's the same concept as the pop-up events, like they're event based and you're winning a certain type of cup, but it's a little bit more flexible in terms of the timing. Maybe like between this day and this day, when you compete in a competitive mode, you're competing one of your 30 games for this or something like that. You know what I mean? That's what I'd like to see, something, or I mean, I haven't thought that through too far, but something along those lines. Give us a little bit more flexibility and give us more options so that I can constantly play competitive if I want to. Rank me, baby.
Yes.
Measure me. Like
Everyone wants a rank from the beginning of competitive online play. We have been wanting a number. We just want a number. Where am I in this list? Where am I in this group? Like, it
makes our stupid monkey brains happy to see numbers that we can improve upon. Like, it just is. That's the psychology of it. Give it to us.
Yes. And it is hard to do it for BR. It's probably the hardest type of game to do it, but it is possible. It's been done. And I don't know, I'm ready for it because I for one, at this point, after playing the game for a year straight, I want something to grind for. I want something more on top of just my pub experience. And I would really like a competitive ranking number that's constantly flux to put like emphasis on everything I do in the game.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'm excited to know that they are doing something and that they've actually said, hey, we're doing something. I promise we're doing something. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
Give it to me. I'm guessing next week, even actually, honestly.
I'll take that bet.
I feel like mid-January. Yeah, fair enough.
All right. That's going to do it for episode 21 of the Fortnite update. My name is Drunky. You can find me on twitch.tv/Drunky and my co-host, The Flood.
Twitch.tv/The Flood.
We'll see you guys on the next episode 22. Bye, everybody.